All right, folks, we got Nikki Cummings here in town, Tehachapi, California, with Here To Serve Workforce Solutions. Right. Traveled in from Florida, last minute trip.
Yes.
And I'm glad that we got to connect.
Well, thank you. I know I dropped it on you last minute, so I appreciate you hosting me with a little time to prepare, but I'm so excited to be here, so thank you.
Oh, fantastic. All right. How's your trip been so far?
Amazing. I got to spend the day with some of your guys and some of my guys out in the field, and it's incredible to see your people doing what they're doing and just crushing at it. So it was awesome.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Everybody's staying safe.
Yes.
Working hard.
Snake chaps, extra, safety vests, all the extra layers in 105 degrees, necessary, but it was, I noticed it.
Mandatory 10-minute breaks
in
this kind of heat out.
I would go stand under the array, get out, in the shade a little bit. But it makes you appreciate what you guys are doing for 8 hours a day when you're out there for I was out there for a few hours and they're doing it every day and they're actually laboring out there. So it gives you perspective for what everybody's doing out in the field.
It's a lot of walking.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of miles.
Okay. Well, you're back in renewable services again.
Yes.
You've had
never say never.
Never say never. Quite an impressive career.
Thank you.
I'm excited you're back in the industry.
Me
again.
too. It feels good to be back.
I want to hear more what it's like, but maybe tell us what the career path has been like for you to get to this point.
Yeah. So I tell my kids, I have teenagers and a youngster, but I tell them, because my daughter's a senior, she's going to college. She doesn't quite know what she wants to be when she grows up. And I think I finally figured out what I want to be when I grow up, which is working, in the manpower business. Mm-hmm. But I did it for 12 years and didn't know that was, what I wanted to be when I grew up until now. And so I tell her all the time, I didn't know when I was 17, 18 what I wanted to do. I just knew I was willing to work really, really hard at whatever it was going to be.
Love that.
And so I think for me, it was just the possession of grit and just knowing wherever I end up, I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to work hard and I'm just going to just keep walking and putting one foot in front of the other. So I had a career in advertising. My grandparents published a Tehachapi newspaper, a small weekly paper here. Okay. And so he was a journalist. I wanted to be a writer, but I also wanted to have a lot of fun. And so I was a bit of a free spirit. I dropped out of college twice. Once was to move to San Diego because that sounded awesome. And then I had the opportunity to move to Hawaii, and that sounded even more awesome. So I dropped out of college again. And then I went into advertising. I wanted to work in newspapers. I loved media. Back in the day, newspapers were more relevant than they are today, right? It was right as the internet was coming on the scene. And so as much as I loved writing, I realized that the money was in advertising, right? And so I went into that field. And I had an amazing career. I was doing it for several years. I was going to get on a national team and fly to New York and Chicago and San Francisco and all this stuff. And then I ran into Buddy Cummings. And so I was, he and I are both from Tehachapi, right? Both, I won't say native, but I moved here when I was a little kid. He was born and raised here. But we're just far enough in age to where we didn't go to high school together. So we met through mutual friends when he was living in San Diego. And then I was in Hawaii and I went to San Diego for a trade show for business. And I called up my old friend Buddy to meet for a drink just to catch up. And it was love at second sight. We hadn't seen each other in 5 years. I was not looking for a relationship. I loved Hawaii, but I fell in love. And so my career path was kind of short in the fact that, I worked in advertising. I moved to Hawaii or to San Diego once we started dating. I ended up staying in advertising, working at the 6th largest paper in the nation. And then because I had seen my grandparents work together at the newspaper and I'd seen other family members in business together, I told Buddy, I wanted to come work for him at his company, Media All Stars, which was a high school sports fundraising company doing media and marketing for athletic teams. And so I ended up working for him. A lot of my career happened by necessity. The company went into a tough season. I offered to try to run his sales floor. I'd never worked in leadership, never been in management. His mentor told him, don't do it. She's your girlfriend. Nobody's going to respect her. A couple months later, the business was just really struggling. And he's like, well, shoot, it's this or nothing. So let's give it a shot. And so I had never managed anybody, but it's once you get a little taste of what your potential is and what your capabilities are, if you're willing to put in the work, like it's unbelievable what you're capable of doing and achieving if you just raise your hand and say yes and commit to like read the books, do the things, like be humble, be honest about what you don't know, but be willing to learn. And so I ended up running that company with him. And a few years later, he's got a great story. So I hope someday he'll get to be on the podcast. So I won't share his story about why he started Whirlwind and Solar, which was originally Whirlwind Services, but he's our visionary 100%. And he had the vision to start this company with a few fellows from Tehachapi, as many of us have this story. And again, by necessity, they got in a pickle. One of our customers in the wind business said, "Oh, I get it. You make the messes and she cleans them up." So that's been kind of our MO for many years. And so we both ended up at Whirlwind. We eventually sold Media All Stars. We were so passionate about renewables, so we just really wanted to focus on that. And then the rest is history from that perspective. We did that for 12 years, built the largest ISP at the time.
Yep.
2 kids from Tehachapi, which you know what it feels like because you're one of us, right? And then we had a really big exit. And fast forward to today, what I've learned is that when people achieve exits, they often become real estate developers. I did that. We did that. It was great. I don't ever want to do it again. Yeah. We started a couple other companies, learned a lot. And it's been amazing. We're still Beach Bum Outdoors is our tackle company. Buddy has a business in the Gulf of Mex, and we've become big saltwater fishermen with a little bit of our time off. But I realized that I missed the team. I missed doing life with the team. And when you grow up in this industry, when you grow up in this city in particular, and then you layer the industry on top of it, I say it's downright incestuous, right? Like Tehachapi and renewable energy. It's just crazy.
It is.
So we missed doing life with our team and obviously maintained a lot of relationships with them. And we'd always talk about getting the band back together. And now here we are making another lap around the track, and it feels better than ever.
What a great story.
It was long. Sorry.
No, it wasn't. That was great.
Okay.
But towards the beginning, I want to go back because something you said, I love it. You talked about just work hard. You talked about how you said your daughter didn't know what she wanted to do when she grew up, right? I still don't know.
Right.
All I've ever known and still today is what I want to do now and what I want to do next.
Okay.
Right? That's it. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I haven't been there yet.
Buddy says, "Don't grow up. It's a trap."
It's a
quotes
trap.
that from Peter Pan, but
That's right.
Yeah.
I love that. But you just work hard.
Yeah.
Just do whatever you're doing. Do it at the best of your ability.
Yes.
And you don't know what next opportunity is going to come. And you're often wrong about what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you just told that story. Here's what I wanted to do. Newspaper, advertising. I think it started with journalism even.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And then, advertising, marketing. And then here it is. I'm in marketing. And now we're running a business. And now I'm leading people. Now you're scaling a business.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know what's coming, right? If you try and decide today what you're going to do for the next 30 years, you're just going to be wrong.
Right.
No one's going to be right. I wish I would have given better advice to my children.
Oh, your kids are pretty outstanding.
My kids are amazing. Yes.
So I think you did something right.
I know. But you got to stay flexible, right? You got to stay fluid. Otherwise, you're going to miss opportunities when they come up.
That's what I think. When you're a small business, like we both are, when you're entrepreneurial mom and pop shop, you have the ability to stay nimble. And the bigger you get, the harder it is, right, to make those calls. And I like that about entrepreneurship and small business is that you can be nimble. You can say yes. And as Daryl Ragsdale says, the answer is yes, no. What's the question? That was our motto that we lived by. Most of the time that worked for us. A few times we got our hands burned, but overall it's been our theme through life.
Yeah. Well, I spent 21 years at a very big company.
Yes,
and
you did.
can say yes, but the risk is very great. The risk is high.
Yeah.
But you can.
Yeah, that's true.
And they all want to, right? Because people want to.
Yes.
But yes, we can actually do it.
It's just harder to turn that ship around if you start going towards the cliff, right?
That's right. This is a lot of risk. Yeah. All right. And then I was curious what happened. So from my point of view, you and Buddy had an exit from WWS and then an exit from California.
Yeah.
And, I watched your family from afar, your kids growing up. Beach Bum,
Yes.
which is
Beach Bum Outdoors.
Beach Bum Outdoors, Tackle Shop,
Yes. Saltwater primarily.
Saltwater,
Yeah.
Tackle Shop. Did not know about the real estate, but that's not really an advertising opportunity, probably.
No. The big building downtown that Pierce is in,
Oh,
right?
that's
We got
right.
to renovate that. We had to restore that historic building. It was a hotel. It was a lumber yard. It's had an amazing history. So that's probably the project that I'm most proud of because I got to build that for the team. I call it the Google campus of Tehachapi, and our team worked for years in a double white office trailer, right?
Mhm.
And they deserved to have a badass facility that represented, everything that they've worked for. And so we still have the honor of owning that building. And I love that they're in there. And then we also did the Village Collective project downtown. So just a few things, but it's been fun.
Yeah. Okay. My bad. I knew those two buildings. They didn't pop in my mind. Yeah, I know the Village Collective well. Steph worked there for a while.
Yeah, that's
with
right.
Works. Seems like I've had a couple meetings in your conference room years ago
Good.
or
Yeah,
something.
come anytime. That's what it's there for.
Okay.
We built a little podcast studio originally because we're like, I don't know, maybe people want to use it. I think this is much nicer, much more spacious. So I like what you built here.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And now it was someday we'll get the band back together. So this is the Blues Brothers mission from God.
That's right. Yeah, Buddy would like that.
Isn't that what Aykroyd says? I'm on a mission from God.
Yeah.
Putting the band back together, right?
Yeah.
I'll work. I can't do it. He's laughing so hard. I haven't been able to do a single accent with these things on my head.
Oh, because you can't quite.
No, it's totally wrong. Yeah. I like The Godfather's a good one. I still can't nail that one, but when
you take the headphones off, you sound exactly like him.
Oh,
okay.
Let's just say yes. Let's go with yes on that one. All right. So you're getting the band back together.
That's right.
And has it since the beginning of this year? When did you guys launch?
So we had a hurricane in the fall. We had a couple hurricanes in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew when I was moving to Florida that, hurricanes were a possibility. It's like not a matter of if, just when, right? I did not know that there were tornadoes in Florida, and those, you don't get notice for those. So I didn't know that I was signing up for that. That's new, right? We have fires in California. We have earthquakes, hurricanes. Okay, we could leave town. Tornadoes are a whole nother thing. I've seen water spouts out our backyard, or out our back door over the water, and that's impressive. But yeah, so in the fall of last year, there were a couple hurricanes, like a couple weeks apart, and they came through and they did a lot of devastation. And a mutual friend of ours had left a company that I was affiliated with in a former life, and he's a good friend of mine and buddies. And so I was actually laying in a shampoo bowl and getting my hair done, and I started hearing these women talk about the storm that was coming and how one person's husband would do FEMA trailers and another person's friend had these contracts for the government when they would set up the camps for the people that come in and do disaster relief, and she did all the catering. And I was hearing all about mobilizing and everybody's getting ready, and I started itching, right? I'm laying in the shampoo bowl and it's like, my heart starts racing because I know that life, right? That construction and that excitement and the pressure and, to perform and to get things done. And we're doing it for our customers. They're doing it for communities. And so I texted that friend of ours and Buddy, and I said, let's get the band back together. Let's become storm chasers. And he said, are you serious? And we talked for years about getting the band back together. Now, originally there were non-competes and, all the standard stuff, and that makes sense. And we've surpassed that by several years at this point. And I was like, let's do it. And so he flew out from where he lives now and came to visit, and we had a long weekend with Buddy, and we sat down, we all started strategic planning, and we were like, okay, disaster relief, utility tree removal, there's all these industries, right? We know manpower, we speak the language.
Okay.
And so we were like, what do we want to do? And we're all looking at all these other opportunities, oil and gas, whatever, all these opportunities. And for some reason, we just decided that going back after, the industry that we know first felt right. And so we thought, okay, let's make another lap around the track. Let's go back into renewables. Let's take everything we've learned that we did well and everything we learned from the mistakes we made, and let's flex that muscle memory and see what we can do. And so here we are.
That's pretty quick. So
that was
like
October.
a 3-4 month. Yeah. Okay. So
that was
3-month
October
planning session and.
Yeah, we did a few. Yeah, for a
Was
few
it a
months we were
January
working.
launch, February?
Yes, I called Ian Steele, our business partner and co-founder, and I don't remember exactly what month. It might have been like November timeline, shortly after we first started talking about it. And he'd always said, I'm here to serve. If you guys ever want to get the band back together, I'm here to serve. Just say the word. Tell me when. And so I called him. I might have even texted him and said, this is what we're thinking. And he said, I'm here to serve. Just tell me when. And so he told me he was going to burn the boats, and he did. And he left a global position with a huge company and burned those ships. And, and then he started January 6th. So that was like our official go to market was, the
That's
beginning
fast.
of this year. Yeah. And then it took a minute, right?
Yeah.
So like you got to get pre-qualified. You got to do all the things you have to do, to earn the right to get to bid the projects
More than a
and
minute,
be awarded.
but yeah, I'm
Yes.
with you.
Yes. Yeah. It takes a while. And so yeah, if it were easy, everybody would do
That's
it. Right.
right.
So so now we're off to the races, and it feels amazing. And it's funny because, we're in the people business. And so you have people problems, right? We don't have machines that break. We have flights that get delayed and people don't show up on the sites or whatever it is, right? And the customers are waiting on you. And so we're just laughing because we're like, okay, yeah. And we have such a mindset. We're like, we signed up for this. It's like different this time around. And so it's like we're more grateful for the problems because we have that muscle memory. We've done, not these things that are happening. Like, oh, we've done this before. This isn't as crazy as it felt like it was the first time because we did this like 10 years ago or 8 years ago or whatever. So we laugh a lot, like when these things are happening, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. Okay. Here's what we got to do.
So the first time that problem happened, you might have some stress and tears.
Losing my mind.
Now we
or
have
something.
smiles
Yeah.
and laughs.
Yeah. But he says, you've come a long way. He's like, I've seen you deal with this before. And he's like, not in a weird way, but he's like, your maturity, your capacity for stress has evolved. And I'm like, well, thanks.
That's what happens when you walk through stress and you
That's
work
right.
hard. You're
And the
tougher
muscle
the
gets
next
bigger.
time.
Yeah. It's just like working out. And the problems get bigger, right? When you have 500 plus men and women out in the field working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, which at one point we did, those problems are a lot bigger than we were when we were at 30, right? So it's just, and here we are, we're doing it again. So we're like, okay, we've been there. I know we'll run into issues that we haven't before, but I just feel like I feel a little bit more mature, a little bit more seasoned, a little wiser, hopefully.
Makes sense.
A few more gray hairs, a little more Botox, We're working through it.
It's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Thank God for Botox.
Okay. So you know a little bit more about what to expect. You know a ton more about what to expect. What kinds of things are you taking from your prior business then and making sure that they exist in Here to Serve?
Yeah.
And what might you leave behind?
Ooh, that's a really good question. So I feel like what we're taking with us, I remember when we were building the last company, our customers on more than one occasion, Buddy would do these phone calls to our customers post-job. He would like debrief with our customers. And Buddy is the CEO, and our company was pretty big at this point. Like we had a good reputation, and the CEO would call, and just be like, how do we do? How do we do out there? I call the site manager and just want to know how we did. What could we do better? How can we learn? It got to the point where our customers would say, Here to Serve is your mission statement. And you guys are so good at it that sometimes it'll get you in trouble because your guys don't know how to say no, right? Because everybody's here to serve. And so Buddy was like, man, you've done something right when your customers are quoting your mission statement back to you, right? So this time around, when we started the company, we were like, it's got to be here to serve. And I know it's like, it's a very big, we're working in the energy power plant business, it's like, so it's kind of a sweet name for this big corporate world, but it's who we are. It's our DNA. And I think it is what separated us. It's how we hired. It's how we coached. It's how we coached out. If we couldn't coach up, it was, here to serve, here to serve, here to serve. You either have it or you don't. And so we wanted we wanted to lead with that. So I think that not just the name, but that philosophy is the number one thing that we're bringing back, with us and it's so much so that when we sold the company last time, we trademarked Here to Serve. We negotiated out of the sale, and they honored that. Like they didn't fight for it. It wasn't the company name. It was just our mission statement. And then I said, y'all can use it as long as you want to. I just don't ever want to be told that we can't use it, because Buddy and I have used it at every company we've ever owned. So So yeah, so we were like, okay, this time around, that's what we're going to call the company. That's the esprit, that's the spirit of, everything that we do. And we want that to be at the forefront of the way that we interact with our two customers, right? Our clients and our employees. So I think that's, I think we were really good at being customer and employee obsessed in the past. That not only did that come from Buddy and myself and Ian and Travis Dees and other people, but Harvey Stevens was a huge element of that culture building foundation in our company. That man is more here to serve than anybody I've ever known in my life. He taught me that leaders eat last, right? And he lives it out in everything that he does. And so now we just want to take that and do better, right? We want to show our employees even more how much we care and but actually put our money where our mouth is, and even more so to level up. And so that's what we're taking with us. What we're leaving behind, the lessons learned. I wish you would have given me 24 hours. Because there's so many, but
you didn't give me 24 hours.
I know. I really didn't. I'm like, and I'll be there in a couple hours. What do you need me to do to be prepared?
That's right.
You're like,
firmed up
really?
the schedule this morning at 7:30, I think. Yeah.
I think, I hope ego, to be fully honest and transparent, right? I think that something that I'm experiencing this time around from a self-reflective perspective is I think I was so passionate and so intense, right? And I wanted it so bad when we were building this company. But sometimes I think I was wanted it a little bit too much, right? Immature, emotional, overly emotional, whatever. And so I hope that I am taking a little more maturity with me and leaving behind some ego of just I just want to be a better leader, right? And evolve. And I think we did well. Ian's an amazing leader. Harvey's an amazing leader. Buddy's an amazing leader. I've learned from all of them and so many more. And so I just want to take what I learned from them and just be an even better leader. And that's, just shed some of that immaturity that we all have when we're young. And that kind of I want to be the best. No, I don't want to be better than anybody else. I want to lead from the front, but I want to Buddy always says, give away the glory. I want to take the arrows from my team if things don't work out, but give them the glory, right? So I want to leave any of that, I don't know, flesh, worldly, insecure. I don't know if it was insecure, whatever it was, just, from being young and naive.
I think a lot of it is age and young. You said yes.
Yeah.
A lot of it is.
Yeah. And my heart was always in the right place, but so it was never intentional, but it was still there, right? So hopefully some of that behind me.
No, and we're young and we're working hard. It's very goal oriented. You want to achieve that result, and often you forget that. Does the means outweigh the? Oh my goodness.
Or you can't see the forest for the trees, right? Yeah, you're just so. I know what you mean now. Yeah.
Right. So you'll kind of do anything to accomplish your goal.
Yeah.
Whereas as you age, you go, well, those were bad decisions, and I didn't need to make these mistakes, and I could still achieve my end result.
So one of our core values is never compromise well-being for profit. And I don't think that we ever did that intentionally ever, right? But that was just something where we want this to be a core value. We want this to be something that we talk about, right? Don't take on, we're so entrepreneurial. We always want to take on more than we can chew. Cause I said, the answer is yes. Now what's the question? But okay, is it really yes? Are we prepared to write this check? Can we cash it? Or from a skill set perspective or whatever, are we ready for this? And so it is being a little wiser, a little more discerning, what kind of impact is this, even if it's an opportunity, but what's the impact to the company? And are we ready for it? Do we have the manpower? Do we have the, the skill set, whatever it is? And just making sure that we live by those core values. Mm-hmm. That's why we made that one of them.
I like that. I love this, the answer is always yes for what. I don't live that way. I wonder if I can do it as better than somebody else, or at least that I believe it. And if I can't, then it's probably not a yes. I have a harder time. I could see
that about you. Yeah, you're very precise, and anything you want to do, you want it to be excellent. I could see that, and we're just yeah, sure, we'll figure it out. How do you screw in a light bulb? I don't know, but I'll figure it out.
Now you start to sound like my therapist. I'm going to change the subject. I got a good therapy joke about ego.
Okay, tell me.
Well, I started therapy to deal with what they said was a huge ego complex.
Okay.
And now that I've dealt with that, I'm better than everyone.
I bet you are.
All right.
What does your therapist say about that? No.
They don't laugh as much as I do. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Altair Energy Services, and their highly trained, expert technical staff, leveraging decades of renewable power management experience into customized solutions for everyone to meet their energy goals and contribute to a better future for all. Altair's team of hardworking, respected experts are providing full-scope, turnkey repairs, planned and unplanned maintenance, system upgrades, fully autonomous technical crews, supplemental staffing, and customized dynamic scheduling to fit your power production needs. Contact Altair at info@altairenergyservices.com and learn more about their wide range of capabilities across multiple power technologies and platforms. All right, that's a great answer, though. And I think that, it hits a lot of people, too, even when you're growing your career. But, yeah, when we're young, we can be kind of rough.
Right.
Yeah, and that emotion
little bit
can
of a
come
bull
out,
in a
and then
china
you
shop.
go, well, that was the wrong time, and that was the wrong place. And
Yeah.
next time I'll do better. And
Exactly.
it might take 3 more next times to get it right.
Yeah.
And that's
So you realize
okay.
it's hot.
But we all go through it. Okay, so you took the Here to Serve mission, spirit, and that seems to somehow set the pace for the cultural vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me more about that cultural vision and how Here to Serve spirit plays into it.
Well, I think, having worked in a few industries and, done a few things, and having been away from the industry and the team and just realizing how much Buddy and I love doing life with people. And we have always said, when we were building the company, after we exited the company, we've always said our superpower is identifying amazing people and convincing them to come with us, right? Like I think we're good at sales, right? So we're good at like identifying awesome human beings and courting them, and like they see the vision and they want to join. And so we don't have to be the smartest people in the room. Buddy's but I've learned that that's a part of the ego where I thought I need to be the most impressive person here because everybody needs to, I'm the leader, so I have to be perfect. I have to be amazing. And Buddy's like, no, you don't. Like, you have all these amazing people around you. That's what makes us amazing. Yeah. Like, what's amazing about you is that you went and you found that person and they decided to come be with you. That's amazing. So, so I think that, having been away, being away, and yes, we have other employees and team members at our other companies, but we're not like this industry, the opportunity, the potential in this industry and the people that are in it and that we've been able to do life with, we just missed it so much. And so I feel like, that's, I feel like I got off track from the question, but that's
culture a little bit.
Yeah. That's like
Here to Serve is sort of the foundation of culture.
So we would keep saying I just miss doing building a team and doing life with our people. And so coming back around, we're like, okay, this is who we are. That's why I said earlier, I think I know what I want to be now when I grow up. I think I'm there. I feel like for years, not so much anymore, it's amazing, but for years I was the only woman in the room. And we worked in construction a lot in the beginning, right? So we were in laydown yards and job sites, not O&M buildings. And so I was always the only woman in leadership in every meeting, often the youngest person, not so young anymore, but at the time, the youngest person and only female in the room. And so, now, here I am now in this position of leadership and getting, I realize, so I used to be like, what? I want to work in an industry with women, girl power, I want to build a brand, design beautiful buildings, build a hotel, whatever. And then I realized there's a saying grow where you're planted, right? And now once we left, I was like, oh my gosh, we had such a good thing. What were we thinking? We had this amazing community that we had built. Yeah. And so with our culture now, it's I am exactly where I'm meant to be. And I'm not the only girl in the room anymore. I went to the first trade show. I saw you in Nashville earlier this year. And my first meeting was with an executive, 2 women, a procurement manager and an operations executive for a developer. And I was like, this is badass. Ian, I had my daughter with me also, and Ian was the only guy in the meeting. So it was so cool.
That's great.
So the industry has shifted, but I know now I'm exactly where I am. And so from a culture perspective, it's just me really embracing all of it. Like maybe I'm meant to be a leader of a bunch of rugged, guys out in the field. Like this is exactly where I am. And I was out there today and I got a text message from somebody who was with us, and he said, and he works in our industry, and he said, I loved seeing you with your people today. No one treats their people the way you do. And I didn't feel like I was doing anything other than just being myself with our guys. But guys that I'd never even met, they were coming up and hugging me. And I'm like, I'm a hugger. So I'm like, oh, I'm here for that, But so I just feel like our culture is, we're trying to, I was very insecure also in the beginning that our customers were going to find out we were a mom and pop shop. And then maybe they wouldn't want to do business with us because they think we were too small. And then what we learned is that people loved that we were a mom and pop shop because guess what? We had everything on the line. Guess who was on the job sites? The mom and pop. And so guess who they called in the middle of the night if something was going wrong? Mom and pop. And so they loved that about us. So it's just a matter of like taking what maybe I thought was like, I was like wanted to hide from the customer in the beginning, and like, I like shine a light on it now, and it's like, I am the mother hen and these are, or my cubs. Right. And I'm like, so grateful for that responsibility to get to be, most of these guys are young, right? This industry, it's a very young industry. The turnover in this industry is over 50% in the trades as a whole. In the more mature trades, like electrical, HVAC, plumbing, it's closer to 7. Something's going on, right? We could blame it on this generation. We could blame it on it being transient, but oil and gas is transient too, right? And so there's so much opportunity there for anybody who's willing to put in the work, and I'm willing to put into the work. So from a culture perspective, to make the difference. So that's our plan.
All right.
On culture.
On culture. I got the culture, but you opened up the door here for the only woman in the room, the only woman in leadership, and the youngest.
We finally hired our first full-time female today, or yesterday, actually. She started. It was her first day. So now I'm not the only woman at the team.
Congrats.
Thank
you. But
I
think you were talking about the WWS days.
Yeah, I was.
When that started.
Yes.
And I don't know if you mind the question, but was that your first time, I don't know, having to, shoulder check the boys, or did you grow up with brothers, or, have a different influence as a child? I always wondered about that sometimes.
Yeah,
I think
that's a good question.
People with a lot of siblings, they just grow up a little tougher than maybe the rest of us or something. But
you're an only child, right?
No,
Aren't you? Oh, I don't know. Why did I think that? I thought you were. I thought we shared that.
Two
in common.
oldest, and
okay.
Closest is a 3-year gap, but
okay.
And they're both girls, so no, I didn't grow up.
So you're like the
wrestling
prince
with the guys.
Yeah, you're the one and only son.
But then we find ourselves in those opportunities in life with the job, and all of a sudden, yeah, it's intimidating and it's scary, but we're tough enough to keep walking forward, right? Just to take the next step forward, and all of a sudden look back and go, I'm great at that now, right? So I'm kind of wondering how it happened for you, and then what was it like as that only woman in the leadership and in the room, and some advice for some other women out there.
Oh, okay. I had never worked in construction, never worked in operations, never worked in a mechanical or technical, trade. And so I end up out there by necessity. My first job site, we had a project lead or a project manager, and his girlfriend or fiance at the time was doing like the project controls. And she decides she wants to go home. She wants to go back to like New Jersey or whatever. And so he's just going to like roll up in the middle of the project. And we're doing a tower wiring job. And it's a big project. And so Buddy says to me, well, let's just like go out there and we'll just like lay eyes on it. And we'll just like get it all in line. And then we'll go home. I have a 6-month-old daughter, my first baby. So I'm like, okay, yeah, like that sounds like a plan. And he goes out there a little bit before me. And he's like, I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Like I'm keeping the home fires burning. We have a baby, right? So he goes out there. He's never run a construction project either, right? So for our scope of work, and so he's like, okay. So he puts the team together and kind of is fixing things while this guy's leaving. I come out there, and what was supposed to be 2 weeks turns into 3 months. And so 2 weeks in, at a hotel in the middle of Indiana in winter, I say, let's get our motorhome out here. Let's bring our motorhome out here because I need to like sleep in my own bed, and I need and it was just like a little tiny little humble motorhome. It wasn't anything special, but at least it was ours. And I could like make sandwiches to take for lunch and not eat out 3 meals a day. Right. And so I called it the little trailer that could. It was the tiniest trailer on the job site that I've ever seen on a job site to this day. So we end up out there, we take our baby to work every day, sneak our baby onto the job site, a construction site, right? Have you ever seen a baby in a laydown yard?
Only on the picture you just posted.
That's right.
Is this
on
this
LinkedIn?
the story?
This is that story.
I just saw your picture. Yeah.
Yeah, that was that trailer. So, but we'd have a choice. We'd have a nanny. We didn't have like, here's us and our baby, and we're just trying to make this work. And I remember one of our bosses told Buddy, like, oh, it's okay. You'll lose like, like $500,000 on the first job, but you'll make it back. And Buddy's like, I don't have $500,000 to lose. Like, what do you mean I'm going to lose $500,000? So we're like, okay. So we're out there. So, Buddy and I, he's our visionary. I'm our integrator. Right. And so, and we're very comfortable in our roles, and Buddy is the ultimate feminist. He's just like the best person for the job, whatever it is. If it happens to be my wife, great. It's less for me to have to worry about. I can go focus on where we're going. So I don't know what a pod is. I don't know what a change order is. I've never done anything, but I know like I don't have a choice and we have to get through this. So I never had a hard hat. I never had boots. So I'm like, well, okay, I go online. I find pink boots in Canada. I find a pink hard hat. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm a girly girl. And so I'm like, I need what I need. And I don't know any different at the time, right? I'm kicking off. I'm doing these pods. I don't know what a pod is. I think I'm doing like a morning kickoff. Yeah. And I'm leading my guys. It's freezing. I remember I could see my breath, and I'm standing on the platform outside, the stairs that go up to the trailer. They're down below, and I'm kind of just orchestrating all the things. I don't know. I'm the most detail-oriented one of the bunch. And then I end up like in meetings. So now I have to negotiate change orders. Things are not going right. We need to, there's scope creep, or they have this, that, and the other thing. So I'm learning all about that. That's where I end up being the only female, in the room. And
that's like jumping in the deep end.
Yeah. And even if it would have been all women, it would have been intimidating, but because I just didn't know what I was doing.
For any human.
Yes. But then you put me in there with a bunch of rugged, manly men who build, have, and they're talking about the erection schedule every day.
Oh,
and am I the only one blushing? I'm like, why are we not laughing? I'm looking around the room. I'm like,
were you wondering if they were messing with you?
Well, I just thought every time they said it, because they say it a lot, when you're building a wind farm, like many times during the meeting. And I'm like, am I being punked right now? Like, why isn't anybody else chuckling? I'm like, because I'm immature and because I've never done this before, and I'm like a 12-year-old boy. But so that was like a rude awakening, but I didn't have a choice. Like, we just had to make this project a success. But I remember reading somewhere during that season, and I just happened to come across this, but Marilyn Monroe said, "I don't mind living in a man's world as long as I get to be a woman in it." Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, like that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be me. And, I'm going to work in this industry. I don't care. I can play. I'm going to figure it out. I'll work harder, like we talked about, than anybody else, because I don't have the knowledge that they do, but I'll know that contract inside and out. So fast forward to the next job site, I walk in. This gentleman has become a dear friend of mine. He's a frat boy from Alabama. I'm, West Coast girl from California. And we're sitting there, we're having this massive negotiation over a change order. And it's like a lot of money. Buddy and I are sitting there. He's got all his comrades there. And we're going back and forth. And he's like, well, you can't charge this, this, that. And I was like, y'all brought us out here too soon. You weren't ready for us. And I said, I have it in writing, yada, yada, yada. Here's all the emails where I said, you don't have enough turbines up for us. We need a runway. And I gave him all the emails. And he's like, he leans back in his chair. And he's young also and cocky, frat boy, friend of mine. And he goes, well, you're not as dumb as you let on. You're not as dumb as you let on. And it pissed me off. I said, and you know how sometimes you'll like have a moment of conflict and you're like, oh, I should have said that. You think about it later, like, oh, sure. I wish I would have said that. In that moment, I leaned forward. I said, no, I'm not as dumb as you thought I was. And in my pink hard hat, I never played the dumb blonde role. Like, I just happened to like pink hard hat. Like, you thought I was dumb. Yeah. And he goes, okay. And he awarded my change order, no negotiations, and we went back to work. And so at that point, I was like, okay, being a female on a job site is my superpower because they'll never see me coming. So when I do talk to women who work in a man's world, like, we're not victims. Like, we're powerful, more power in a good way, right? Like, use that to your advantage. Work harder, know the contract in and out. Like, we're not going to get any special like favors. And we don't deserve any. Nobody does. Like, earn the seat at the table and they'll never see you coming. That's what I tell people.
I love that.
Thanks.
I'm going to go backwards though. You said we don't get any favors, and we don't deserve it.
Yeah, I've got to earn it. We don't deserve it just because we're females.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that's not popular. I might piss some people off, but
I think I've needed to learn it.
okay. I don't
that's
want
why I
anybody
like
to
it.
give me any special treatment
That's right.
because I'm a girl.
Then it
you
truly
know?
is equal and fair.
Yeah.
Right?
I
Then
want
it's
the best
truly
person
equal
for
and
the
fair.
job, regardless of gender. Right. And so, and I understand that maybe not every female has that level of confidence that I do. And it's come with a lot of years of like working in this industry and developing that confidence. But I know that I believe that if you're willing to take the risk that we did from an entrepreneurial perspective and then do the work, you can, like Marilyn Monroe also said something about like, how do I feel about having a seat at the table? She goes, honey, or boy, I bought the damn table. Like, you know what I mean? And so it's like, I'm not confident and cocky like that, but I do have enough confidence in my ability. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm a girl or a boy, a guy, like just be willing to do the work.
Be willing to do the work,
Yeah.
work hard. And then, I don't know, you had so many great little quote one-liners in there.
Thank you.
Jacob will get them.
Text me. Let me know what you think.
I'm
Maybe I'll save him for later.
And I'm the visual learner, so I didn't memorize everything you just said. But I liked, now I talked too much and I forgot it. Give me a second. I liked when you said, you take what they think is your weakness,
Yes.
and you make that your superpower.
Yes.
When they think that's your weakness, lean into it. That's my superpower.
It's like the art of war. Yes.
Yes. I
Yes.
love that. I mean, it's great advice for anyone, but you're kind of playing out a couple obvious ones that women can use.
That's
to
right.
their
It's a little
advantage.
white man can't jumpy. Yeah. Remember the movie? Like he acts like he can't play.
I love that one. Oh, Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson. That's right. And Rosie Perez.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's been a while.
I'm dating myself by using that movie.
Okay. Great advice. And even if it's obvious.
And that goes for like, say, young people, right? Like your son, right? He's young. He's super smart, right? But like he could potentially be dismissed or some of, this young whippersnapper, what could he know, right? So it's not just for being female. My nephew, Kyle Cummings, he's my cousin, but I call him my nephew because I'm older than him. But it's actually Buddy's cousin's son. He works at the company, right? And I'm like, people might judge you for that, right? For our last names. But I'm like, be willing to work harder than anybody else. And, that will work in your favor if people think, he just has this job because of whatever. And then he's going to show up and show him what he's capable of. And it's like, oh, wow. So I love to exceed people's expectations,
First of all, I think the world of Kyle.
Oh, he's the best.
I think the world of Kyle.
Yeah, all you have to do is meet him and like he earned the seat at that table.
Yeah. I mean, he married my daughter's best
That's
friend.
right. She was her maid of honor,
so they've
right?
been around quite a long
But
time.
he told me to tell you hello, actually.
Yeah.
But when he helped me to the truck today.
I also know how tough this young man is, so
That's
he's not
right.
going to have a hard time.
Bronc rider.
He's not going to have a hard time.
That's right. No, and I told him that. I'm like, you can take it. I said, I'll probably be the hardest one on you, just because you're family.
Yeah.
I don't have to be though. He's awesome.
Okay. Great advice for other women.
Thank you.
And I like how you played it into other, younger folks in the industry too, where you
That's
find
right.
yourself in the position. But, and you're right. I never thought that I had any weird blind spots. I don't see race and gender and things like that. I've been it's all our programming, right? Like however you're raised, just kind of, and then maybe you have to tweak it when you're an adult. Maybe that wasn't right. But I have, and it's only been pointed out to me in the last couple of years. And I think about that childhood question, because I spent like most of the pivotal years, mom and two sisters. Like, yeah. So you bet there was, it's only special treatment.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there was none other option.
Right.
Yeah. And then then later on, dad, father to a daughter as well. And so
That's right.
there were all these things. And I went, oh man, you're right. I was giving out like special treatment, I guess. Yeah. And that was wrong. And I had, a woman call me out on that.
Because you were being overly special treatment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not call me out, rip my ass and really
Gotcha.
teach me a hard
Ooh,
lesson.
okay.
Yeah. Had it coming, needed it.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you learned from it.
Yeah.
That's the most
but,
important thing.
Even at our age, and I know I'm older, so it's not our age.
Thank you. Thank you for, clarifying.
I think you're as old as my youngest sister or something.
That's right.
No,
She's
that's not
very
right.
young.
I have others, and I have another one that's like 25.
So you're pretty close. No, I'm just kidding.
Sarah and Laura.
Yes.
Or one of them.
Yeah, I went to school with Sarah.
There
And
you go.
I think she's a year younger than me, but yes.
Okay. All right. Well, then I won't say how close in age we are.
Okay.
Where was I going with that? But, you know, you got to think about a little bit of the programming, right? Where did you come from and how does that make you think and talk and act and yeah.
And my dad passed away when I was 3 years old, and I am an only child. My grandfather had 3 daughters, and he told a story that they had like I think it was a Chinese or a Korean doctor who delivered their last daughter. And it was back in the day where the men still stayed they were in the waiting room, right?
Yeah.
And so the doctor comes out and he's like, "Oh, Mr. Mead, I'm so sorry." And my grandfather's thinking like something happened to his baby or his wife.
Yeah.
And he's like, "It's another girl." And my grandfather said, "I don't even think I would have known what to do with the boy. I didn't want to go throw the ball around." He was a thinker. He was a writer. They call him Tehachapi's own Mark Twain. And he loved being a girl dad. And even in that generation, right, where it was like a little bit more like the men were, you wanted a boy, everybody needed a boy. And so he was a feminist, and I married a feminist, like I said earlier. And I don't believe in feminine as like pro woman. I think it's like pro best person for the job, and believing that a woman can be as great or better, right, than a man for certain roles, just depending on the person, right? And so I think I married somebody like that, and I do definitely think that shaped the way that I say things.
I like how you said that. Being a feminist doesn't mean you're giving advantage to or special treatment, but it's remembering to be equal.
I think equal for who earns it, right? Not don't be equal for the sake of being equal. I chose 2 of you, now I have to choose 2 of you. Again, this might not be popular in today's society, but I'm just equal for whoever's willing to do the work.
Maybe I should have said equality or fairness or something like that.
Yeah, fairness. And just like give everybody the right to earn a seat at the table.
That's right.
Yeah.
We'd like to take this time to thank another one of our wonderful sponsors, Podge Engineering. Podge Engineering, making wind and solar all we know it can be. Are your renewable energy assets underperforming or not performing at all? Did you expect many years of longevity and they're failing on you now? Podge LLC offers many customized, engineered products and solutions to get these assets back on track. Podge Engineering also performs root cause analysis, engineering services, procurement, and construction. Visit podge.org. That's PADGE.org. Remember Podge, making wind and solar all we know it can be. Very cool. And kudos for just stepping up and saying, it's like a Ricky Bobby story. I say that when people just do these things, I won't go fast, right? You just volunteer. But I talk about myself a lot. I was able to grow my career by when things were going bad. I would often raise my hand and go, "I'll do it."
Put me in, coach.
Right? I didn't have anything going for me, but I was like, I could do it. And I didn't know if I could do it or not.
Amen.
I just knew that nobody else could.
Yeah, that's what I told Buddy. I'm like, I don't think you have another choice. I'm going to say, I'll give it my best. I promise.
Now, not to anything, but yes, in the areas that I was familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to, right?
Raise your hand.
Yes. You got to stand out. You got to step up.
Yeah.
And push yourself to that next level.
That's right. And I love this industry particular, and you are a poster child for this, and so is Ian. Like, did you go work for GE like immediately after graduation?
Zond.
Zond, which later be that's how long we've been doing this. So we're dating ourselves. Okay, so you went to Zond. What I loved about
I don't mind
Whirlwind,
being my age.
No. Well, I like, dude, we are dinosaurs in this industry, right? Like we've been doing it so long, but
now it's our responsibility to share with others,
usher in the legacy, right? The future. But I love that not necessarily is college the path for everybody. And I believe that not everybody needs to go to college, and college can be great. And I think even if you're not going to be like a lawyer or a doctor, it can still be great for like networking, building relationships, all the things. But I loved that we had a company in our hometown that became the largest employer inside the city of Tehachapi. Not as large as the prison. That's why I say the city, not the greater Tehachapi area, but the largest private employer. And we got to hire these kids who graduated from high school, and not necessarily was college their path, but they got to graduate, start in the solar field doing land management at the time for our program that we called HTR, Hire, Train, Retain, and then get out of that, get a massive pay increase, go through training, start making per diem. I had kids who'd never flown on train or planes before. I had to tell them, make sure you don't wear your pocket knife or your Gerber, put it in your bag that you're checking, make sure you tap the plane before you get in it, because if you don't, it'll crash. And they just like look at me and I'm like, I'm just kidding. But I loved, and you're a testament to that industry too, right? That career path and to that story and what this industry has done for people to change lives. You, me, Buddy, Ian, so many people, Travis D's, like countless others, right? I'm forgetting a million, but not forgetting them. I'm thinking about them all right now. But it's been an amazing blessing to us, right? And look at us. We're business owners. We're entrepreneurs. We're chasing our own American dream. And now we get to help others fulfill their American dream, right? Our team. And what a big responsibility. What an honor, right? And that's what we're doing.
I love it.
I love this town.
Yes,
I love this industry.
you're right. We are products of our town.
Yeah.
Not just our industry.
And it doesn't matter that you didn't go to college, neither did I, or that that I'm a female, right? It was ours for the taking because we were willing to raise our hands.
Mm-hmm.
And we did it.
I found out just a couple weeks ago, I had an interesting startup story, and I don't know that I've ever told it on a podcast, and I don't think I'm ready yet, but.
Oh, geez. I'm do it.
But I found out that there were, HRM, and there might have been a couple of helpers at the time.
Okay.
Heads on. I just found out 2 weeks ago that one of the helpers said, quit hiring kids off the street. And it was me in the interview.
What?
Yeah. So I had teased the shit out of her. You know who you are. You know who you are.
I know somebody
so
who
it's
used
a
to work in
good,
that
funny
department.
story. I won't say her name. You know who you are.
And they hired you anyways?
Well, she wasn't the boss.
Okay.
There was another she that was the boss. And that other one actually did find me on the street.
She did. She's like,
that's how
I got a pulse.
That's how I got the interview.
JK.
That's how I got the interview. All right, I will tell the story.
Okay, good.
I had not graduated high school, and I was ditching Saturday detention.
Okay.
And while I was running across that street, Valley Boulevard, by what is Saracoso now, I guess, would have been the street where I popped out on Valley Boulevard.
Okay.
A lady blew a tire, and I was walking to where I left the car. The lady blew the tire. I'm like, all right. So I changed her tire.
You see it, you own it, right? You're here to serve. You got to go back.
Man, I might as well stay to Saturday detention.
Right now I'm on the ground.
I was not bothered by that. Happy to help somebody else. And she says, hey, I'm the human resources manager out here at Sond. Do you need a job? I was like, I have 3 jobs. I need a better job. And she says, here's my business. Can electricity? Yeah. Wire. My dad was a contractor. You scared of heights? Not that I know of. And are you 18? No, I wasn't 18.
Okay.
All right. So she writes down my name and number. She gives me her card. On my birthday, the crappy wall phone in the poor apartment that I was living in rings. And she calls and says, happy birthday, Adam.
She waited for your birthday.
So I don't tell this damn story. And come out tomorrow. Interview. Test. Climb. Written test, climb a turbine, getting an interview. And I had 2 interviews, and one of them said, well, you haven't graduated high school. I was like, yeah, I know. I got a situation, but I was really a great student ahead of time. So there's only 2 classes for me to take from my senior year. So it's not a big burden. I'll graduate on time. But he stands up and he walks out. And the other guy stayed. And Mike Messier gave me a job. First time I've told that story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel honored that you got to be vulnerable.
Jacob, we're cutting that out.
Yeah, right.
It's gone.
No, we're not.
Gone.
You said that you have total control, Jacob.
Yeah. So,
Mike Messier.
Mike Messier hired me, but
the
HRM was the one that remembered me and called me, and then her helper was saying, quit hiring kids off the street. And I just found out about that. I can't believe that.
And you were legit off the street. Like you said, you were
changing
her tire. I know, but I mean, on the street, I love that.
Yeah. So don't underestimate the people you meet on the street.
That's right.
You never know where they can, put their careers and what might happen. And in some ways, this industry has gotten a bad rap, and that's been, you've heard it, right? Last week they were living on the street. Last week working at Taco Bell, or pick the place. And companies found them, gave them an opportunity, an education, a career, and look what happens. Like, you can't talk bad about this.
I think literally my personal purpose statement. So when I was at Whirlwind, like I said, I was dealing with a lot of these kids off the street, right? And so it wasn't like I was like, this is what I'm doing. I'm like building. I'm in renewables. I'm running Manpower. What is my purpose? What am I passionate about? And I thought, okay, I love renewables, but I'm not like, that's not why I wake up every day, right? I'm a capitalist, but that's not why I wake up every day. Like, what is going to be my purpose? And I went to like a Tony Robbins conference, I'm kind of a soul searcher, right? I love personal development. So I'm thinking about it. And I was like, okay, what gets me fired up is being an American job creator and helping people, like creating a ladder that people get to climb up, right? Like I could just, the ladder's there, but you got to climb up the ladder, right? And so watch people do that, like you're talking about, like your story, Ian Steele's story. He started at the bottom position that we had at the time, and now he's my business partner.
That's right.
I wouldn't choose anybody else to be, I said to him today, Buddy and I were married to Harvey Stevens for, 5 years as business partners. There's nobody else we would choose to be married to right now than Ian Steele, right? And it's like, his story is similar to yours. And as far as, just his path and not really knowing, what he was going to do. And it's just such an honor. And so that's what gets me fired up. That's why I wake up every day. That's when people say, what do you do? Like, I help people chase their own version of the American dream. That's it. Like I work in renewables, but maybe someday I'll work in tree removal. Maybe someday I'll get to work in disaster relief, but I help people, chase that dream. And that's my dream, and it fires me up. And so getting to know those guys, those kids off the street, they're hugging me because all we've ever done is met on a computer before. And I'm like, I feel like we know each other, right? But it's building that rapport and that relationship. And that is what gets me fired up. And that's how I found my purpose in that industry, in this industry. And now I get to relive it. And I'm like, yep, this is, and there's my number one customer.
There he is.
There he is.
You want to put him on?
Oh, wow.
Can we put him on?
Okay.
Jacob, will that work? You got to do speakerphone, I think.
Hey, buddy. I am on the Watts Up podcast with Adam Tiefenthaler, coming at you live to unite the tribe. And it's being recorded and everybody can hear you.
They need to hear this, probably.
What? Why are you calling me with some amazing news?
No.
Oh.
I'm just a big fan of the podcast. Would love to thank Adam for all the awesomeness that he brings to the industry.
That's
Woo!
right. I told him I hope that he'll have you on here too, because, I have my way of telling the story and you have yours, and you're the visionary. So we'll have to have you here someday.
Dude, I don't know if Adam, if you could hold all the passion in a pod.
In a podcast booth.
What's up, son? We'll bring in more cameras. We'll bring in audio, all the lights.
Fireworks.
Padded so I can just be bouncing off the walls.
That's it. That's it. The walls are mostly padded already, so you're in good shape.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a good start.
Great to hear your voice.
The world's problems.
We are. We're crying already.
We're telling
We've
stories.
Cried, so it's good.
Okay, Adam, are you crying? I know Nikki.
No.
Yeah, he knows.
No, Jacob cut that part, I promise.
Oh, I'm like, okay, we're gonna cry, we're gonna laugh, we're gonna find Jesus.
That's right. Amen.
That's how you know you're winning.
All right.
I do not want to get in the way of this. I love you guys. Keep it up.
Love you too. Talk to you soon. Bye.
That's pretty good.
That's my dude.
Where were we at? I know where I was trying to circle back to. But I got to touch on the career path. I have a huge passion in this as well. It's probably one of the biggest passion motivators behind the podcast.
Okay.
I wanted to share stories, and I wanted to share lots of people's stories with the hope that new to industry or young in industry folks get to benefit from everybody else's career paths and stories.
I love that.
And make it their own and understand there's other jobs and companies and avenues and technologies and services and things like that for their own lives and their own careers. Because yes, this one has blessed me. And given, this industry's fed my family, raised my family at an insanely young age, and I've been able to get a career. So that we share that passion, 100%.
I love, like I've known you for, I remember you in high school, and I've known you when you were on GE, a long time at GE, and seeing you step out into this entrepreneurial endeavor, right? And going your own way. And like, it's so, to watch it from afar, it's like, welcome to the arena, brother, right? Like we're here. It's like, it's wild out here, but it's like, you're chasing your own destiny, and it's exciting and it's scary. And I love seeing what you're doing. And I know you care for people. And I know I've been on a couple podcasts for different industries, not related to renewables, because there's nothing like this out there for renewables, but I know it's a lot of work. And it looks easy. You're natural. It's comfortable. It's great. But like, there's a lot of work, and you do this for free, right? Like, you're just doing this to serve.
No, we do take sponsorships.
You take donations.
Affiliate programs are available. And we sell this
logo
wall,
placement.
like.
I guarantee it's not enough to compensate for all the equipment, the room, your time, Jacob's time. Yeah. So I just honor you for what you're doing. And I do. People love it. And it is, you're like honoring the tech, right? But there's another platform out there that's amazing for wind techs that we all know and love on social media. Yeah. But you keep it so positive, and I love it. I love your mission. So, and like I said, I know it's a labor of love.
Yeah. Gotta be, right? It's gotta
right.
be. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. A lot of people don't think about how much work goes into the back end to make
so much work.
That one episode appear.
And we're just like having a conversation, that Jacob's got to go to work and like make it look awesome, right?
Yeah, except we're so good. He'll have no editing to do whatsoever. He's just going to publish after this, and it's perfect.
Just push submit. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. So
we're here all day.
I wanted to touch on, you talked about college a little bit, and it's not the path for everybody, and 100% agree. College is the path if you know why you need to be there.
I agree.
If you don't know why you need to be there, and you're there because of, your programming or what you were told to do as a child, I get it, you might. But at any age, step back and go, why am I here? Because there are other paths to achieving a higher education, like ours. Yeah. By the way, I thought that I wanted to be an engineer, electrical engineer. I loved it. I would walk to this. We used to have a library downtown near Kmart, I think. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah. Right? I think it's an antique store now. I haven't lived here for a minute, but I think it was the last time I was there.
That's right. I would walk there, and I don't even think I could afford like a library card, even though they were free. I was so poor. I would read theory of electronics, theory of AC and DC and components, and read about transformers and thyristors and capacitors.
You've lost me.
Yeah, but that's where my passion was. And I thought that someday I'm going to be an engineer, even if I can't go get a degree and do it. I was going to know it. And then I didn't, mechanical. So I went and read about it. And then I was leading people. So I was just, now I could buy books. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
I could pay for a book.
You didn't have to like get the card at the library.
I sit at the library until they closed. And I was buying books on psychology and learning about yourself, learning about others, how to identify motivational techniques and interests in other people, right? Yeah. So, I didn't go to college traditionally, but I did achieve a higher education that I believe, better than most. And completely as a need in order to achieve the goal in front of me, right? That work hard thing you were talking about. And this came up, we were with an HR, that episode hasn't come out, but it was, a lot of great technicians, they get identified to be a manager because they're just great.
Because they're great. Yeah. Over promotion or maybe too soon.
Seen this, maybe done this. I've over promoted in my life a couple of times and needed to correct, and help a person out. But we do this sometimes. Yeah. And what do you do if you find yourself there? And the great advice we got was, go find your education, right? Go find people like this person or another great, leader coach. And now you have technology, right? You can go to YouTube.
Literally.
And go get an
MBA.
Just about, right? So, college is not the path. You know what college won't get you? A job.
That's right.
They won't get your resumes out there and set up your interviews and find you that job. And it really irritates me. And I do talk a little, I say I don't say anything negative on this podcast. I'm
Like
gonna
maybe
talk
a little
trash
bit of a
about
soapbox.
college. I know. But people like yourselves will,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
You will give a career, a job to start with, an opportunity, a career path, more training, open their eyes to maybe you don't like this path, maybe you like that path. And hey, it's in the same company or it's in the same industry, and you're still networking together.
I tell my team all the time to remember that we can train the skill, but not the will. So if I have anything that I want to, like my little trademarked slogan, it would be that. Hire the will. You can always train the skill. And so Kyle Cummings, he's never worked in renewables, but he's an exceptional human being and he loves people. And that's the most important core value and characteristic that I need in somebody in his role because he's supporting all of our technicians. Dylan Ragsdale, if you recognize his last name or his initials, it's because his dad is Daryl Ragsdale, who, was the VP of sales at our last company. His son's joining us as our business development manager. Cool. He's an exceptional human being. And they're both curious. They love to learn. They have a voracious appetite to learn. They're humble. They're coachable. Everything else is going to come. We can train them. We sent him to Kyle to Rise, right? He's getting the technical skills that he needs to be able to support his guys. But the will that they both have to lean in and their commitment to themselves and to our people, it's unprecedented. And so I just always remind my folks when we're hiring people, like we can train the skill, always hire for the will. If you can find both, even better.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love those. Hire for the will, not the skill.
Yeah.
It's so simple. The simple advice usually works.
Right.
I remember my first two pieces of advice when I was first hiring, and it was just in passing. How do I hire? What do I look for? This mentor's walking away, boss walking away. Don't hire anybody unless they're better than you.
Oh, so good.
All right.
So good.
Figure out how to define myself because I was too young to even understand who I was at the time. Right. But yes, great one. Simple. The other one.
And real.
The other one, different boss. What do I look for? He's walking away. He goes, if you think they'd have a smile on their face buried to their neck in snow, hire them.
Okay. Fair enough. With the job that they were doing, that's fair.
Yeah. So good attitude.
Yeah.
Right? Good attitude.
Little sense of adventure.
Little sense of adventure, but I like it. Hire for the will, not the skill. And it's similar to some of the other simple things.
Yeah. They're oldies but goodies for a reason.
Yeah. All right. I got to stop talking about all the passion things or something. Have you ever had, you 10 years, 12 years WWS?
12 years.
12 years. All right. Maybe like a serious question. Which is harder, launching a business or scaling a business?
That's a good question. I think when you're launching a business, cash flow, when you're scaling a business, right? Cash flow all the time, cash flow, cash always, cash is king, right? And in this industry, when payroll and per diem
demanding
and insurances, right? It's like you burn through cash. This is a machine that eats a lot of cash. So launching is difficult. But also in the launch, you've got to have those business development relationships. Like you came into the industry, obviously, with not came into the industry, but you stepped into entrepreneurship with amazing relationships. Oh. We restarted this company with amazing relationships, right? But when you're in pure startup mode, going into an industry you've never worked in, so you've got to have that business development strategy. And startup mode is just, you're scaling and starting up. You're building all the infrastructure. There's no processes, no procedure. You're wearing every hat. You have no team. Your shoulders have got to be big. I remember recently I was hiring a guy. He's crushing. He's doing so well. And he said to me, so I was on the phone with him. He's from Waco, Texas. And we're talking about the project he's going to. He goes, so are you like the hiring manager or like the travel manager? And I was like, yes. And he's like, okay, like which one? And I'm like, and I'm the CEO. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I go, no, it's okay. I'm all those things, So, and then he goes, so like if I'm having a problem, can I call you? And I go, well, I'm really big on chain of command. So I think you should call Ian Steele first. And here's his cell phone number and then call me. So I think that startup mode is really hard. And I think scaling It's scary. It's fun, but there's so many amazing systems out there that exist. And I'm not going to say, I think it's like a diet. Jeremy Lacan told me every diet works as long as you stick to it, right? Because some people are like, I'm keto, I'm paleo. They're the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? So he's like, yeah, any diet will work if you stick with it. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And so I think there's amazing business systems out there to model. And I remember after we sold Whirlwind and we were doing some business consulting, I'm a pretty voracious reader, but I stumbled upon 2 books. Well, 3 books, The E-Myth Revisited, which is amazing for someone who worked in the field and then decided to start a company because it teaches you about and reminds you to get like, you can't always work in your business. You have to get above it, right? So really great fundamentals there. Then I read a book called Traction. And before we sold, but only a few years before we exited, I read a book called Scaling Up. And I remember all of those books. I was like, I wish I would have read these years ago. So, so implementing, I think, a business system, like an operating system built for scale, and get coaches. Like, you don't have to be on an island. You don't have to be an island of one. And like with Buddy and I, we were the leaders, but we were young leaders. There was a lot we didn't know. We'd never scaled a business to that size. So looking for outside resources and, you know, like I had mentors of famous people who didn't even know they were my mentors, right? Like, but they were still my mentors.
Oh, I got you.
Right? Like I learned from them. We
You
spent
were
a lot of
going
time
out
together.
getting the
They just
education
didn't
you
know it.
needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was, curious, always be learning. Right. And so, I don't know if my team would agree with me. I don't know if Buddy would agree with me, but startup, I mean, you're at it, right? It's exhausting. And so, and you've got a team and you're getting into scale mode. Probably, you're probably feeling like you're beyond the startup phase mostly.
Yeah. I also received a great business education, right, from my former employer.
From an amazing company.
Like the scaling and restructuring and the
Every 18 months.
I'm well trained at.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So no, for me it was the launch.
That's why Maya
you have
Arthur
an
was my
idea.
favorite employee to work at, like directly with me, because she'd been there for 18 years and nothing phased her. Like, oh yeah, change, sure. I eat it up for breakfast, you know. And so that was a great training ground.
So yeah, you take an idea and want to turn it into reality. That's tough. That's the toughest part, I think.
I think so.
So I liked hearing you say, because I've also thought that's the toughest part. And then you're right. If you don't have training or education like you have to go scale, there are companies, advisors, software.
Yeah.
You know, there's people and resources out there to help you scale your business. You're right. But they're not out there to help you launch.
Right.
That one's always on your own.
You got to have big cojones. I'll say that. That'll be the most inappropriate thing I say today, hopefully.
Are we cutting that? We're not cutting that.
Okay.
We're not cutting that. No, I know. And you're right. Sometimes,
big cojones and a little bit of naivete, right? Like Buddy and I are like, if we would have known what we were getting ourselves into, right? A little, like, we were too dumb to know, right? Like how hard it was going to be. And then by the time we figured it out, we were like eyeballs deep and it's so in debt. We didn't have, the only way out was through. And yet we are doing it again. So obviously, you know, maybe there's still a little bit of that naivete.
That's not naivete. That's where you started. That's the hard work. You said, just keep moving forward, right? Just keep working hard.
It sounds like a Rocky. Like, doesn't he say that in Apollo? Keep getting. It's about how hard you can take the hits and keep moving forward. Something like that.
That's right. It's
that was my Rocky
how hard
impression.
You can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's
yeah.
Right. That's right. Great one.
So good.
Oh man. We're gonna have to watch that movie. Yeah. You're right. So yeah, it is tough to turn an idea into reality.
And for all of those dreamers out there, though, like we talked about my LinkedIn profile, gold digger is one of them, right? I love I love dreamers, right? I used to have something on my wall that said "Long live the dreamer," but you know, a dream is just a dream, right? Unless you start moving forward, you know? And so, I love dream chasers and then dream catchers, right? But there's a difference.
Yes.
And so, you gotta take the risk, right? You gotta hang the open sign up, right?
Yeah.
And I love that. I love living in this country. I've done some travel. And if you look at the statistics of small businesses and entrepreneurs in Europe, compared to here, it's astronomically low. And you know, England, like Britain's a great country, or the UK, right? But their startups are so small. I don't know why. I don't have a theory, but I just think we live in the greatest country on earth. And I love that we have so much opportunity. And so I love talking. This is like, Buddy and I say we have two hobbies, or we talk about two things in our house, business and business. And our kids sometimes have to tell us to like knock it off. Let's talk about like SEC football or something.
Yeah.
But this is my passion. This is what I do for fun, and all of my
I've
free
never
time.
thought about that between countries. So maybe there's we still got some of that rebellious
We got that
nature in our
chutzpah.
blood.
That's right. I believe we do.
You got to be a little rebellious.
That's right.
Or you got to be a lot rebellious.
Yeah, you got to have a fight. Buddy and I
Yeah.
always talk about that. Like his favorite movie is Braveheart. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Braveheart, the end is kind of sad, right?
You can spoil. It's
And-
been out a while.
Okay, he dies. and for those of you who've seen Gladiator, right? Same thing. Like they have sad endings, but we've been to Scotland and he's still revered. Robert the Bruce and dear God, Mel Gibson. What can I remember his name?
I'm
Braveheart.
not remembering either. I know the movie.
Jacob, help us out.
Braveheart.
Braveheart.
Mel Gibson's character's name.
I am terrible. Okay, you're gonna have to cut some of this out. Either way, the dude, freedom, blue face,
Yeah.
like he had a fight, and he, what's his name?
William Wallace.
William Wallace.
William Wallace.
So you go to Scotland, and this was like, I don't even know what year he like 1,000 years ago was when he was there, and people, his country, they're still so proud of him, and he died, right? He lost the battle. We know what happened. Scotland got taken over by England,
Yeah.
right? They lost, but that fight for freedom, that mission, that purpose, he united a bunch of farmers to go fight for what they believed in. And so I believe that entrepreneurialism and that American dream, that rebelliousness that you're talking about, it's because we revolted, right? And you got to have a little bit of that fight. You got to get a little pissed off. You got to know what you want and identify what you're fighting for. It's that hero's journey, that Joseph Campbell, like The Matrix, all of those, every movie that has that hero's journey, it ignites something in us when we watch it, because we need a fight. You got to
Yes.
go out and pick a freaking fight.
And you got to arm yourself.
Yes.
Education, all the things that you need.
And like you said, you do not have to be the smartest person in the room. You can't do it alone.
Mm-mm. No one ever is.
Maybe if
Yeah.
you're like a YouTuber or something. But Mr. Beast, he has like a freaking team of people. He is
I don't know
Mr.
who
Beast.
that is.
Oh, he's like the most famous YouTuber in the world.
Oh,
He's not
yeah.
it's not my jam, but it's just, it takes an army, right? Or a village to build something great.
In today's fast-paced industry, having the right tools isn't just an advantage, it's essential. That's where ETI Energy Tools comes in. With over 75 years of industry experience, they deliver strategic procurement solutions that enhance safety, efficiency, and cost savings. ETI provides industrial tools, safety gear, test and measurement equipment, and heavy repair solutions, all backed by a vast network of manufacturers. Whether it's tool kitting, PPE standardization, or high voltage tooling, ETI saves companies time and money while ensuring they have the right tools for the job. Contact ETI at etienergytools.com to learn more and gear up for success. All right, you brought up the LinkedIn titles.
Okay.
I want to hear about the HBIC and maybe your favorite HBIC story.
So HBIC stands for Head Biatch in Charge. I'll say it that way so it doesn't sound so
I thought
bad.
it was boss till you got here and corrected me.
Head boss in charge.
I don't
No,
know.
head bitch in charge. Because you got to have a little bit of a sense of humor, right? I do. Like I said, we just hired our first full-time female, which is such a blessing, right? We're definitely nowhere near like balancing out the level of estrogen with the testosterone that we have on our team, but it's kind of like I said, just embracing it. And when we decided to go back into the space, Buddy said, "Oh, I know what you need to put on your business card. Instead of CEO, you need to say HBIC." And so we decided that was not a great idea coming back into the industry. Maybe I should wait a few years before I start introducing myself as the head bitch in charge. But if you know me, I don't actually think that about myself. So it's kind of a joke and for fun. HBIC story. I mean, I'd have to think about it, but there
What?
was a story like we were talking about earlier today where one of my, we've worked with thousands of people over the years, literally. That's not an embellishment. And we had a team member, and I'm sure you know him, and he's fiery, and I'm passionate, and he's passionate, and he directly defied something that I had asked back in the day. Like it was something, and it had to do with safety. Because I don't ask a lot. I like our people to be able to lead, right? We're not micromanagers. But this particular instance was related to a safety issue. So I was like, we can't do that. And he like, of course, I walked away and he went and did it. And so we end up in a conflict. And so I don't know if it's really HBIC-ish, but we ended up, he's yelling, I'm yelling, and I don't yell. Like you don't yell. Like it doesn't.
No.
You had a guy that was like famous at your last company for like throwing coffee mugs across the room. You know who I'm talking about? This was way back in the day. Like we'll talk about it later offline. You'll know exactly who I'm talking about. That's not who I
survived
wanted.
a few of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different people.
Yeah.
You're like, wow. You'll know who I'm talking about.
All right.
And it's impressive. Sometimes I'm like, damn, I wonder what everybody would do if I threw a coffee mug across the room. That's crazy, you know? But so I don't want to run things like that. So, but we end up yelling at each other, and not my finer moment. But I said, we need to take it outside. And I meant because we were in a double wide trailer, it was getting too heated and it was not professional. And, you know, we were gathering an audience. And so I was like, we need to take this outside. Well, everybody thought I meant I wanted to go fist fight him in the parking lot.
That's great.
So my girlfriend said, we all ran to the window to see if y'all were going to like go to throw blows. And I'm like, okay, I'm a little scrappy, but I'm not that scrappy, you know? So I don't know if that's it might have been a little bitchy. Maybe
Well,
not
it depends.
HBIC.
How did he respond when you said we need to take this outside?
Let's go.
Oh, then what?
We proceeded to, you know, go out in the parking lot. Buddy calls it taking a walk around the parking lot. So we, you know, and we talked it out, we worked it out, but, and I don't believe in pulling rank, but you know, at some point somebody has to make a decision, and there is a chain of command, and it was related to safety. It wasn't related to my authority and wanting to be boss. Right. So, the decision was something that couldn't be undone. So it was not like we could go back and fix it or change it, but he knew how I felt about it and wasn't ever going to do it again.
Okay. Okay, not bad.
And he's a dear friend to this day.
All right. I think that counts as a great story because it resonates the title.
Let's take it outside.
Yeah, you're calling them outside.
Yeah, I meant like this is getting a little elevated.
I know.
But the whole team's like,
But,
just tell them they're going to take it outside.
yeah, that probably solidified the nickname.
That's
then.
right. Yes.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
That's a good one. No, I was telling you earlier, I do like your LinkedIn title, taglines, about section. And, you know, I was saying, I've been looking at it for a few months. I need to change mine. It's so professional and cold. It looks like a math problem or something. You know, there's not
I'll have to go
much
read it.
personal about it. But yours it's fun. And I've noticed others are, you know, being a little bit more fun and letting people, you know more about them.
Yeah, I think
That's
like
neat.
we were talking about earlier, you know, it is a professional platform. It is a business platform. But I always say, and I've always told our team, you know, we don't take ourselves seriously, but we're very serious about what we do. And so I feel like, you know, you go look at our business brand, it's not going to say HBIC, right? But I am a person and I want to be authentic. And I feel like being, you know, authentic will, like, it'll make you stop and go, oh, like she's got some personality, or like, I'm going to remember that. And so I think it's good to be real, be true, especially in my position with the company, right? I want folks to believe that I'm approachable and see that. And like I said, I don't take myself too seriously, but I'm very serious about what we do. And I think those can both be done equally.
No, I love it. I don't know if I'm quite to your style. I might tweak a couple things in mine, but I do like that. And authenticity is what wins today.
Yeah.
Authenticity wins today. Society needs it. I think people are craving it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just having a conversation on a podcast, right? There's a little bit of vulnerable, maybe not for you. You've done it before, but
no, but Jen, you don't know how it's going to go.
Right.
Or like, what if you ask me something and I'm just like,
yeah. And then Jacob may not edit that out.
oh, so embarrassing.
Yeah. But it does, right? It's authentic, and you get to share some of that, but it's a little vulnerable. And I think for some people, for a lot of people, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Right. But
Kyle told
embracing.
me good luck before I got in the truck. And then I was like, does he know something I don't? Like, I was like, you just got in my head there.
Yeah. But it's what society needs, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
what I believe people are craving. Just be
Yes.
authentic. Don't fall in with the next trendy viral
100%.
thing that's happening in the digital world.
Or I always say my life is perfect. Just look at my Instagram reel,
Okay.
right? Like my highlight reel, right?
Mhm.
And that's what I have to remind my kids. Like all you're seeing is everybody's best filtered
That's right.
life,
That's right.
And I do think people are craving authenticity and because it's rare. And so when they find somebody who's truly genuine, it's like, oh, that's refreshing.
Yeah.
Hopefully. That's what I think.
Discern the difference between Instagram and reality. Right.
100%.
I'll show you a Halloween costume from a few years ago that will never be aired. But it was my wife and I did a difference between, we did this hashtag Instagram, hashtag reality kind of
Oh, that's
thing,
fun.
right? Because it's you have to look at the real world and take a step outside and maybe check out a podcast where people are just being vulnerable in themselves, right? It's simple. So oddly enough, your LinkedIn profile is like a lot of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
I appreciate it.
All right, let's see. How about you have a lot of accomplishments. Do you have any daily habits that you would never compromise?
Oh, that's good. I go through seasons of discipline if I'm going to be totally honest. Right now, I'm in a really good place from a habits perspective. I'm a little older than I was the first time I did this, right? Starting in 2007.
Could you repeat that a little louder?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, shh, don't tell anybody. But, and so I don't have quite that level of energy, right? Or I don't bounce back quite as quickly, like when I'm only going on 4 hours of sleep, my flight's delayed, whatever. And so I want to show up and be as sharp as I can for our customers and for our people. And so I have to really be a little bit more intentional about that than I used to have to be. I could like get less sleep or eat more poorly or whatever. And I would bounce back faster. So right now I'm in a good place where I just ask myself, and Ian and I are doing the same thing. I'm so proud of him. Like I think I could share that he used to chew tobacco because he did it in public and he quit and he's got like a couple months in and he's crushing it. I'm so proud of him. And we ask ourselves, we say to each other, is this building my empire? Right? Like we're here, we got people who we are responsible for, who are responsible to support their families. Like we have way more obligation than just to ourselves and just to our families. And so we just ask ourselves every day, is this building my empire? So with that, I try to work on, faith, family, and business. Those are like the three things that I try to balance and prioritize. And those are like your three legs of the stool, if you will. There was a book I read a few years ago written by a woman called Randy Zuckerberg. It's Mark Zuckerberg's sister. She wrote a book called Pick 3 or Choose 3. And she was basically saying, if you identify 5 priorities in your life, physical, so fitness, family, friends, spiritual, and work, right? So say those are she's like, those are the general. You could pick, something else. You can choose what it is. But if those are like kind of the 5 main elements of like a balanced life, it's basically impossible to prioritize all 5 of those every day.
Yeah.
And so she would work on, she was a, high-powered executive in New York, and she would work on choosing 3 things. And so for me, sometimes I get to come to Tehachapi for business, but I get to like go out with my Golden Girls at night and have dinner or have them over to the house for a hot tub sesh. I get to do 2 of those things in one, event. But so I just really work on, on kind of those 5 things and making sure that I don't prioritize the same 3 things every day, because then I know those other 2 things are taking a back seat. Being in my word, being in the Bible every morning, working out a few days a week. I wear a glucose monitor. That's really helping. Just watching like even my stress levels, because all of it raises your glucose. It's more than just eating sugar.
You can wear a glucose monitor?
Yeah. When you see those people with like the white things stuck to their arms, I wear mine like on my lower back, but yeah, and you can kind of gamify it, like it because you keep your glucose level, because then it makes your pancreas go into overdrive and it produces insulin, right? But the less you can do that, my cousin Kyle was saying, it's like slamming on your brakes and then slamming on the gas every time you take off. It'll wear your vehicle out. And so you want to just kind of like, ease into the gas, ease off the gas. And so that's been very interesting these past few months, is just like understanding those levels, and it has to do with diet, sleep, stress. And so it's, prioritizing that kind of fitness side. So I'm getting very curious about longevity, because I want to be here for a long time and I want to be here like well, right? I don't want to live to 100. I want to live to 100 and be like crushing. And so physically and mentally. And we're building an empire. We're building a rocket ship right now. And everybody wants to ride on the rocket ship. Not everybody has what it takes to build it as you're like living that out every day, right? You know that. And it takes a lot. So I am really personally feeling really good about my discipline right now.
Good for you.
But it's a season, right? It'll ebb and flow.
It's a season. Yeah. Okay.
I
Fair
watched
enough.
a video
So not
of myself, an old WWS photo video last night. It came on the screen. We were projecting old content, like showing the guys kind of the photos we wanted to take. And a video popped up with me in it. And I was like 40 pounds heavier than I am now. Didn't even recognize myself. I was like wanting to rip it off the wall, like turn it off. But that was a season where I was grinding and scaling. And I completely forgot to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And I learned the hard way. I ended up having a back injury that self-care isn't selfish. And that if I don't take care of myself as the leader, I'm worthless to my team. And so it was very painful to go back to that and be like, wow. I could send you a fat Nikki photo if you want, Jacob, so you can like pop that up. But it was, I
find any fat ones of me, you delete them.
Yeah, talk about humility and authenticity. But truly, like that, like I forgot that like I was eating at my desk, working long hours, not moving, eating fast food because the business needed me, and that's what it took. And it's like, for how long? How long can you sustain that? So I'm really trying to do it differently this time around.
I love that.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Daily habit you won't compromise. I think what I heard was balance, right?
Counterbalance.
Well,
Is that fair?
Well, I think you're looking to achieve it, and you had your 5, and you think you can grab 3 in a day.
Yeah.
I love this. And focusing on you talked about fitness, but that's one of the key pillars, right? Your own personal health. There's nothing selfish about that. That makes you a stronger, higher functioning professional.
Yeah, it helps you sleep better at night because you're physically spent, right? And then you get better sleep, and then you have more energy and you're more clear. So, yeah.
Great advice. And I also kind of heard, if you, I can't remember what words you used, but don't be so tough on yourself if you miss a day. Get caught up again. But
and self-care
just try
isn't
again
selfish.
Tomorrow. Self-care isn't selfish. That's it.
Yeah, like it's an investment.
Yeah.
And I think when we're young entrepreneurs, we're like, no, this is what it takes. I got to be the first one here. I used to think I had to be the first one here. I had to be the last one to leave. I had to be the hardest working person. I had to say, like, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I study the Enneagram. I'm an Enneagram 3. It's just like this kind of personality typing. And so I'm an achiever. So that's how I like being affirmed by doing a good job. And it probably has something to do with like losing my dad or whatever, wanting to know that I'm like enough. But when you do that, first of all, you allow your team to be like, well, Nikki's got it, so I don't have to raise my hand. And for the people who do want to raise their hand, they're like, well, great. Like she's like a glory hog. She does it all, right? And so it's okay to allow your team to lead and to take risks and to take responsibility because then they get to feel victorious and taste that, right? And that can be more rewarding than if I did it myself. And newsflash, then I have more time to like work on me a little bit too, So those are some lessons I learned along the way. Still learning.
That's a great one. I'm no good on a day. I go for a week. Did I balance through the week? Give me a 7-day average.
Yes, that's fair. That's like, well, she says that. Choose 3. You can't do all 5, right? Yeah.
Going a week. I'm like, now, sometimes that's off, but.
And I saw you like went camping right up into the Sierra or.
Yeah.
And like kind of went off grid for a minute.
So I can be a workaholic.
Shocker.
Yeah. And the most I've been able to get in the last couple of years are to the gym. I like yoga, so gym, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And that's good, but it's not enough if you aren't taking chunks of time off. And so, we have the high Sierras right here, and I can hike miles outside of cell phone signals and anything else and have, complete disconnect. And I don't know if 24 hours does it. 36 to 48 is a little bit better. But yeah, I like getting away. And then truth be told, being barefoot and fishing.
I love it. So you're grounding and you're having
a there's adventure. The grounding thing. I didn't realize that's what I was doing until somebody told me I was grounding. But yes, and fishing. So that's it. And then Steph went on her first one with me.
I saw that.
She kind of got to the point where she says, I'm not camping unless there's a toilet and a shower.
Fair enough.
That's fair.
Yes.
And then, but she's also working a lot right now and said, I want to try one of these out.
Dude, she's crushing.
She went one with me. Yeah, it was tough. It was 1,100-foot climb and a few miles back. And
That's awesome.
yeah.
How do you guys like being a husband and wife business partner? We haven't touched on that.
Yeah. We tell a funny story. Kind of forgot a big chunk of launching a business, or no, didn't forget, didn't even know.
Okay.
And Steph put her career on hold and, did this support piece. And I was horrible. I was horrible. Had to fire her like a dozen times before she finally quit.
Buddy's tried to fire me. I
Yeah.
told him he'd have to call the police and have me escorted out of the building, but
I never do it but so we needed to take a break.
recalibrate.
So she went and worked somewhere else for a while, and it was just like crushing it and, running AR and cash collecting like a boss. And, I explain cash collections at different times in my career. There's the science and the art to it. And
Yeah,
she's just doing
100%.
it. And so then I took her out to lunch. Said, would you come back to work at Altair? And before I finished, she said no.
I quit Buddy.
Yeah.
He was one of my first bosses after high school, and I quit him as well because he wasn't ready, right? And then we found our way back to each other. So I love that.
Yeah.
So how'd you convince her to come back?
I mean, the weekend was coming. I'm pretty persuasive. By Monday, she was.
Don't forget all about it.
I mean, I'm pretty good at sales too.
Yeah.
And it's been wonderful. It's been
That's so
wonderful.
cool. And I think, I've done some work with her, like in this professional world,
okay.
and she's amazing.
Yeah. No, zero issues at work. Our problem is just that I don't slow down much, even in the evenings, and make, time and stuff. So, but I'm going to counseling, got my therapist, and I'm working on all
You're
that.
doing the work.
Yeah. So no, it's going great. So it's not a function of working together. It's just a function of I work. I don't, I need to fix my balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no,
schedule your priorities. Don't prioritize your schedule. I learned that. I'm learning that.
Yeah.
I learned it, and then I'm constantly learning it.
I call it a practice.
Put your priorities in, like schedule them first. Otherwise, you'll just be like, I'll take that meeting. I'll do that. I'll do that. Yeah. And it is a practice.
Yeah. Lawyers that practice law and doctors practice medicine will practice priorities.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And hopefully,
practice balance.
Do a good job. Yeah. Level up.
Yeah.
With the people that really matter.
And don't be too hard on yourself when it falls apart.
100%.
Right?
Yes.
Tomorrow I'll be there.
Lord willing. We work in a bit of a dangerous industry. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it can happen.
All right. I love this story. No, you did. How is it? You asked me how it was working with Steph, my wife. Yeah. How is it working with Buddy, your husband?
So it's been 22 or 23 years that we've been working together consistently, not like the job I had for him out of high school or I quit. And I would say it's not for everyone. And I think he would say that too. And we've had couples ask us if we think they should start a business together, go into business together. And we say no.
Agreed.
Most of the time, right? I don't think it's for everyone. For us, it is our superpower. We're very clear on like our skill sets and how I would say together we make one complete person. So we really complement each other. It's interesting though, because we're both like on the Myers-Briggs scale, like we're identical. Our test results are almost identical, which is weird because we complement each other from our skill sets. But it's been amazing. It's definitely had its ups and downs. And but he is my number one fan, and I'm very clear on like he has vision, like he's insane, like to the point where it's hard because his vision is so big.
Yeah.
And he can pivot so fast. And he'll say, we're going over here. And I'm like, we can't get there. And he's like, well, we're going. And I'm like, well, shit. Okay, guys, let's figure it out. And so this is a new season for us where he's the CEO of one company. I'm the CEO of this company. But don't think that he's not my CEO, right? Like he's my advisor. He's our chairman. And he stretches me. And it's interesting because I'm not like reporting to him in the same role this time around. And it's a little more collaborative. We've always been 50-50 partners in business, but this is a really fun season and he's entrusting me with a lot. I'm very grateful for that. but he's also challenging me in a different way versus working underneath him and, and building the infrastructure. He's challenging me on my vision. And he's also like, I was like, what do you think the 10-year goal should be? And he's like, I think you and the team need to figure it out. And I have full confidence that you will.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I was thinking it's this number. What do you think? And he's like, I think you'll let me know. And it's like, I've never had that trust from him. And so, yeah, we're having a lot of fun right now.
Oh, that's exciting.
I hope he's having as much fun as I am.
Yeah.
But he's
And new
missing being here
dynamics.
today.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like all the guys, we were photographing everybody, and we got a huge barbecue tomorrow for the company and for their families. And so he's really got FOMO, but he's taking our daughter to an SEC, FSU, Alabama game. So they'll squeeze in some fun too.
Nice. All right. Yeah. He's missing out on some fun stuff, but he's got family fun.
Yeah.
New dynamics, new
Yes.
challenges, both personally and professionally.
Yeah. It's fun. It's like,
It's fun.
it is fun. And I think, I don't know another way now because I think we've almost been together longer than I was before I was with him. I've been with him longer than than I was single. And I just, I can't imagine not being partners. So it really works for us. But if you had Ian on here and you had, confessions, or Harvey, or, some of the other fellas, they'd tell you they've seen us not at our finest. And, one confession would be at another company, I was pregnant. So I might have been a little emotional. He says I was a lot emotional. And one of our managers and I had like strategized this plan. We wanted to go in and present it to Buddy. I don't even remember what it was about. We'd worked until like late in the night coming up with this plan. We walk in the morning, we share it with Buddy, and Buddy's like, no, I don't think it's gonna work. And my business or my manager, who was he passed away at 40, a few days before he turned 40, actually, from esophageal cancer. One of my best friends, Trevor, he rolls over on me. He was loyal to me, but he was more loyal to Buddy. And he just rolls over on me, right? And I was so devastated. I walk out of the office and I slam my door, and the termites of this old building decided to stop holding hands. And the entire door frame came off the wall and like came in on me.
No.
Yes. And so that was like our least fine moment as business, partners. And like the whole team, the whole company came to a screeching halt, right? Because the door literally, and Buddy's like, you ripped the door. He likes to say I ripped the door off the wall, but I'm like, no, the termites stopped holding hands. It was a horrible old building. But yeah, so we've had some moments, some doozies.
There's some comedy in that story, though.
I know. I was like, they should like make our life a reality TV
There's
show. 'Cause
comedy
we're crazy.
in there.
But yeah, it was not funny at the time. It is funny, 15 years later.
What's the rest of the year and next year look like for you?
Startup and scale at the same time. We're really excited. We have a projection. I think we'll do, I think we'll do what it took us 10 years to do, a lot less time. So we're going to be very busy.
I would assume so.
We hope so. Buddy says, Nick, what it took us 3 years to do, you guys have already done in less than 6 months. And that's such a, to hear him say that is so affirming for me and for Ian, because we really do appreciate his feedback. But so I think we're going to be very busy. And I feel in this season I am still doing a lot, but we've got a lot of team members that are joining right now, and everybody's starting to kick in, and some of the folks are coming with some experience. And so I see the light at the end of the tunnel, where I'm working on so many things and hadn't taken a day off in like 7 weeks, but it just was what needed to be done.
Sure.
And but I know that's where the shoulders are getting broader because of the people who are joining. So I love that now my role is like, I'm finding that it's a lot more like mentorship than it is like actually going to be doing. And I'm so used to doing, but I'm loving working with these, I call them my young guns, Dylan and Kyle.
All right.
Because they have so much energy and passion and ability and capacity. So getting to work with them, they just like lean in, and they're just so here for the challenge. And I'm like, hell yeah, and I can't wait to see what they can do. So I think we're gonna scale. I think we're gonna be very busy, not just from like a revenue perspective for lots of clients, but like building the infrastructure to support that scale that's gonna come quickly. Like we talked about, it eats a lot of cash. So it's going to be,
Right.
stretchy. I'm I'm going to my first big trade show, right? RE Plus in
Oh, I'll
Vegas.
see you
I'm
there.
sure you're going to be there.
Yeah.
This will be, we at our last company had a really cool trade show booth. They've since retired it, right? But it was a shipping container that I got the privilege of designing. I thought how cool to be in a renewable energy industry and have a shipping container converted to a trade show booth. We were kind of the bells of the ball. And so it's humbling going in now. Like, we decided not to exhibit because of just the lack of time to prepare. And so it's, I'm being humbled because I like to make a splash. And so we're going to go, we've got a lot of great meetings set up, but I always say, never forget where you came from. And I'm being reminded of that and I'm living it out. And it's like, it's good for me though. And I'm like, I'm here for all of it. And I tell the guys, I'm like, someday, I'm like, don't you worry. Like, we'll have our booth next year. We'll reserve our space at the show. It's going to be great. But I appreciate, I'm in so much gratitude for all of it. I feel like I have a really good perspective, and I'm trying to make sure that I keep that and just stay rooted in the moment and, and just be here for it.
I like that. And have a little fun along the way. Because where we started.
You know me, buddy. We're going to have fun.
was the putting the band back together.
That's right.
That's where we started.
That's right.
Yeah. You got to have some fun too.
It is. And you were with Ian at the Mountain Fest, right? And you guys were all together. And it was like, Ian sent me that photo of all y'all. And I'm like, dude, every one of these guys has worked with us. We have worked for, we are working for, what I mean? In some capacity. It is like
a customer or a vendor.
Right. Yes, or a vendor. Well, he worked with us back in the day. He was one of our first. He was our first biz at Joe Bowles, Aaron Bowles. He helped us get one of our first big customers at Whirlwind like a million years ago when we still lived in San Diego. And so I'm like, all these people have touched my life. You've all touched each other's lives, And I'm like, this is that's the band. That's part of the band right there. We're like all on tour together, so it's cool.
It is fun and exciting.
And like you talk about Mike Messier, right? These legends, right? And there's a few of them. And it's like Bob Gates, right? You probably worked with Bob. He's been so kind to me. We served on a board. I was young. I knew nothing about renewables, but we served on a board together. And then he and Mary McCann, after we sold the company, hosted us at their house in Montecito and our kids and just people that are willing to give you their time, even though you've done nothing to earn it. And now here we are. The next generation, right? You got your son working for you. I've got, Daryl's
he's
son.
at Green Energy.
Oh, he's at GEM? Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
I thought he was with you. I don't know why I just assumed that. I knew he was in renewables.
Yeah.
But so he's legacy though. He's
Before
second
that,
generation,
he was with
right?
Ian over at DevCom.
At DevCom. Ian did tell me that.
Yeah.
But you're creating this, we're the next generation. Now we're raising up the next generation, right? And it's at some point we're going to be the Bob Gates and the Mike Messiers, right? These legends, the Dave Shulgins and Rod Dees and, these amazing people. And it's and we get to, we're riding on their coattails and standing on, shoulders of those giants. And now we get to be that for other people. And it's fun. It's an honor.
It is fun. And I do love running into those legends. They need to get on my podcast though.
That's right.
I'm not taking my shoulder out of that deal. Yeah, they're all saying yes, but then when scheduling comes up,
they're super busy.
Knuckleheads. Yeah, I think their stories are amazing.
They're probably like, "What's a podcast?" Just kidding, guys.
Get you a radio, you'll hear it. Yeah, I know because they have such amazing stories that need to be told.
Insane.
That need to be told.
Safety, all the things. How wild. We think we came in the Wild West, but they were the Wild West.
Yeah.
I've heard so many stories. You've heard them too about putting in turbines where the concrete hadn't cured, all these crazy things to meet completion deadlines and stuff. And it was just a different world. And they were trailblazing and, they paved the way for us to be here.
That's right.
And it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Nikki, I got to wrap this thing up. Otherwise, we don't need to record another episode all year. We're doing great. So let's wrap it up a little bit and do this again.
Yes.
And when Buddy's out, see if we can get him to talk at all. Or
exactly.
He's too quiet.
I know.
For a
I'm
podcast.
passionate. He's on steroids passionate. But I love that about him.
That'd be fun.
Yes, he would love that.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else you want to share quick or.
man, just keep chasing those dreams, do the work. Number one, do the work. If you're willing to do the work, you will be recognized. Don't do it to be recognized. Just do it because it's the right thing to do. Keep your head down, stay the course, show up, be accountable. And I promise your future is in your hands.
That's great advice.
Thank you.
I love that.
Thanks so much for having
Keep
me.
curating those jobs for those people to go do the
I'm
work.
doing my best. I'm
right.
hustling.
Thanks for coming,
Thanks,
Nikki.
Adam. Bye.